Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's Maurice back again with another video. And today I want to talk about, is this the best year that we've seen out of Marvel Champions so far? And I think, you know, my short answer, thank you for asking. I think it's a yes. And I think it's a clear yes on if this is the best year so far that we've had with Marvel Champions. And I think that, especially with us only being 7 months into the year, we've seen some of the best content that we've seen for this game in a while. And what's always questionable about LCG style games is, can it keep up a certain quality compared to the amount of quantity of content that's being released throughout a year, right? Because you look at Lord of the Rings LCG, that game has been out for over 10 years now, and they were still putting out content for it. Well, I guess technically still are putting out content, but uh, the the rate that we're seeing content come out for it has slowed down. And I mean, there's only so much you can add to it, right? With the original author, not living anymore, and there's not a lot of extra content that you can add to it unless somebody now has the rights to it. But there's only so much that you can do with it, right? Compared to Arkham Horror, where you have, even though the original uh, author of the Cthulhu universe is no longer alive, like there are some people who have taken the rights and kind of expanded on some of the stories and the monsters and some of the characters that are involved in this Lovecraftian universe and are creating more things around it. So now we are stepping into superheroes with Marvel, and there are so many comic books that you can base the content off of, where at this point you're just picking and choosing or maybe following along with what the MCU is doing, seeing what's popular there and releasing content there. With that being said, Fantasy Flight decided to take a different route than what we're kind of seeing from the cinematic universe. Um, so with what we've seen so far this year, I mean, to just go down the list of heroes that we have, I mean, we have Miles and Ghost Spider, two very strong heroes right out of the box. I think Ghost Spider had the stronger precon deck, but it looked like Miles is starting to outpace her with his versatility. He can pretty much carry a game by himself with his own kit, and you can just slap a deck together with him, and he'll end up working out. Similar to Doctor Strange, he's not as strong as Doctor Strange, but his versatility and the strength of his kit allows him to be able to play whatever you need him to play. I think he runs into a bit of trouble with the amount of events that he have, as well as he'll run into some trouble with villain control if the villain has stalwart or even steady. It'd be a little tough trying to pull off some of the triggers that he have, but overall he's an extremely strong character. Probably A tier. I say mid to low A tier. He's pretty strong. And Ghost Spider, she responds a lot to the interrupt and responses. So you will see her probably excel in protection, but kind of fall off a little bit with the others. But she, once again, similar to Miles, have that stronger kit that can carry a game. Just off of what she comes with alone. There's also the Sinister Motives pack that came out with some of the best villains in the game. The villains play extremely clean. They take a few mechanics that have just kind of existed in the game and made them more of a factor. Looking at Sandman, where all of his attacks are indirect damage, right? So it kind of make the decision of, do I have allies for the sake of having allies for their health pool, or how do I use them? Do I need to use them a little bit more sparingly so that I can take all the damage? It's interesting how we have these, I guess, these kind of mechanics that we have come to see, like indirect damage, that have a place, but we haven't seen it to this point, especially with Sandman, where they have more of a meaning to the game outside of just existing there, right? Um, They were able to do the multi villains a lot better with the Sinister Six. Venom Goblin is one of the strongest villains in the game, up there with Ronin. In terms of difficulty, he is hard, but he's I think he's a bit more well designed than Ronin, in my opinion. But this was a good one, with Mysterio, him adding cards to your deck that can affect you. Is similar to the cards that we got with what's his name, Adam Warlock, where Adam Warlock had those uh, aggression, protection, justice, and leadership cards that you can add to the encounter deck to help mitigate some of it. Mysterio was kind of the other side of that coin, and I think that that's cool that you can have these mechanics that makes the game a little bit more challenging, as well as using these mechanics that we've never seen before, right? And so sinister motives were strong, and then we just got Nova and Ironheart a few months ago. Ironheart, one of the stronger heroes in the game, definitely A tier. Nova probably hovers around that B tier. With the combos that he can pull off, he's just super fun to play. Ironheart is super fun to play as well as being extremely strong, especially using the progress tokens to try to build her up to do this amazing amount of damage. To the point where once she hit version 3, game is over. So we have so far 4 strong heroes that are at least B tier, arguably A tier. With the cards that are out right now, and we also have some of the better villains that's in the game, right? And then just a week ago, we just got Spider Ham, where Spider Suit probably lower B tier, and Spider Ham is definitely S tier, in my opinion. He's not Doctor Strange, Captain America strong, but he's right there behind him. Right, he's right there. He's that strong, and I think that we are seeing both the champions and web warriors kind of come out heavy in this year, where we're starting to see a ton of allies revolving around them and cards that kind of play to their strengths, as well as seeing a lot of synergies with them within the different aspects. So all of these heroes, maybe with the exception of Spider Suit, are super easy to pick up, and I think that if somebody is getting into Marvel Champions, I I'm extremely confident that I can just tell them to start at Sinister Motives and get some of these heroes, and you will be able to pick them up pretty easily, and you get a lot of the different mechanics right there. I would still argue maybe Rise of the Red Skull first and then jump into Sinister Motives, but with the heroes that's out right now, the most complex that you're getting is Spider Suit, and yeah, she's complex, but I think you can still pick her up. And then with Spider Ham, super easy to teach. Miles, super easy to teach. Um, Ghost Spider, super easy to teach. So this has been an extremely strong, or excuse me, it's been a strong year for Marvel Champions so far, especially for us veteran players that are playing to still get a challenge while also getting quality heroes to play, right? And we I haven't even talked about X-Men yet, so that so we're gonna see how Fantasy Flight ends the year, because we now we got a look at what Jean Grey and Cyclops can do. I think Cyclops appears to be a bit stronger than Jean Grey, but we haven't got our hands on either one of them yet, so we'll see how that goes. But we've got 2 heroes that are solid once again, that I don't think will fall under B level. We haven't really gotten to look at the different villains that are coming out. We know that the Brotherhood and Magneto are coming our way. We haven't seen too much around either of them, and I'm sure the as the days go by, because I think that it's set for either next month or the month after, for the release date of Mutant Genesis. We still got we still got some time, so we may get more reveal on what those villains are going to be capable of. But so far this year, it's been extremely strong, right? And then to look at what we're comparing it to, um, if we start with the core box and work our way up, I mean that's a lot of uh, that's a lot of time, to talk about the game, because it's We're in year three, I believe, maybe four, and we're still getting strong content. The game, the core game itself was just fine, and then there was that wax and wane of both enjoyability and strength of heroes, right? Because the core box came out, and then you had Captain America, Miss Marvel, Thor, Hulk, Doctor Strange, and just those five heroes right there. There is a disparity in terms of enjoyability. What the community likes, the strength of the heroes. There's a lot that is going on just off of those five right there. And then you reach Rise of the Red Skull, which brings in Spider Woman and Hawkeye, and those two are, well, Spider Woman is extremely strong. Hawkeye is okay, but he had his kit with the arrows, which was unique. So you still had that creativity that was there, right? And as the game continued to progress, we got the Galaxy's Most Wanted expansion, which was extremely polarizing in the community across both the heroes and the villains. Star Lord had a lot of polarity because of the trouble he can get you into, because of his ability to take encounter cards to put out cards for cheaper, and that can cause some problems at the table. Or even in solo, if you're playing by yourself, you're giving yourself more problems, right? Gamora is a strong one that does a lot, easy to teach, super simple. You got Groot and Rocket that came with the Galaxy's Most Wanted box, which trying to play those two through that campaign is torture and a half. Because Groot is not good at all. Rocket is serviceable. He excels in like the minion slaying role, but in Justice he's pretty good. But that's about where it ends for him. But you can kind of craft some serviceable at least decks with him to where he's not useless at the table. Whereas with Groot, you really have to work to make him good. Um, and then not to mention those villains, Ronan being the most notorious, if not collector one from that set. Ronan terrorized the community. Collector one terrorized the community. So there's a lot that people didn't like about this particular set, whether if it was between the heroes or the villains that came with that set, right? But one thing, prior to this year that I think was super cool was the standalone villain packs where we had Kang, Green Goblin, Red Hood, I mean, not the Red Hood, V Hood, and uh, Wrecking Crew. I think Wrecking Crew is probably one of the worst villain sets that's out there. It tried to do something creative, which I appreciate Fantasy Flight always pushing the envelope on creativity and innovation, but it just didn't work out. But with the Hood, um, Green Goblin, and Kang, those three are phenomenal villains in the game. They're each about, I don't know, 15 to $20 to buy, but you get a lot in those different sets, because with Green Goblin he comes essentially with two. He's essentially two villains in that one. He got two different scenarios in there. I think it's the same for Kang, and then with the Hood he has, man, six or seven modular sets that he comes with, just full of minions. So that make people like me happy because I love Thor, which the more minions there are, the stronger he is. So um, yeah, those are extremely good sets that came out, and then you have this wax and wane of the viability of the heroes prior to this year, where you have some of the best, looking at Captain America and Doctor Strange, all the way down to the worst, where you're looking at Valkyrie, Hulk, uh, Valkyrie, Hulk. I would argue Groot is the worst that's down there. So there's a lot of variability over the past few years, but you look at this year, this is some of the strongest heroes that's in the game, has arguably one of the better box sets in the game. I think that Mad Titan Shadow still might be the best, but this one is not that far from it with Sinister Motives. And uh, I think if Sinister Motives edge it out in a debate, it'll be because of the heroes that came out with it. I'm not a huge fan of Spectrum. Not a fan of Adam Warlock. I think that they can be good, but I just don't care that much for their play styles. But I loved playing with Miles and Gwen, and the villains that come in Sinister Motives are phenomenal. So, yeah, I do think that this is one of the better years that we, or arguably the best year that Marvel Champions have had so far. And the question comes down to, does it finish strong? With X Men, I would say absolutely. You bring out this box set, you have Cyclops and Jean Grey already on off rip. They're looking to announce the next four heroes that'll be coming out right around that time. It looks like so far we may have Nightcrawler, um, and so they have a few more to announce. I think it may be Wolverine, Storm, and maybe Gambit or Rogue, depending on where they want to go with that. And they still got the rest of the year to maybe pull off another hero or two, um, which could be Beast, uh, Iceman. I think would be another good one. Oh, and we've already seen Colossus and Kitty Pryde, right? And we got to see a bit of their kit, and they're bringing in some interesting aspects to the game, like with Colossus, we're finally getting a hero that can stack toughs because we've oh my goodness, man, we're already seeing some of that with other villains and encounter sets. Because I mean, with Armadillo, like he comes in and the dude can just keep stacking tough statuses like it's nothing. So if he starts going off, I mean, it's so hard to deal with him unless you have somebody that can kind of ping damage, which makes Nova a very good pick into him. But yeah, I think that this year is going to end pretty strong. We got X Men. A lot of people are very excited about the X Men. They can do another villain, in terms of a standalone villain. We haven't had one since the Hood, which came out last October, November, somewhere around there. So, we have one. We probably have another one that'll come out around that time this year. So we can see maybe Doctor Doom. We could see Apocalypse. The sky's the limit. So I'm excited to see what they do, and it could be something not within the X Men realm. Maybe we can see something that the champions have to deal with, or somebody that the Web Warriors have to deal with. Right? Maybe we see the female version of Doc Ock, like we saw in Into the Spider Verse. That'll be cool. Or one of Spider Ham's villains, or Spider Noir's villains. So we can see something that's relative to what's happening this year, or something that's completely obscure that a lot of people don't know. It's similar to the Hood. Not a lot of people knew who he was, and yet he's one of the best villains in the game. So there's a lot to be excited for. I think that so far, yeah, this is definitely the best year that we've had of Marvel Champions, um, with it bringing back the viability of certain cards, with the design of the heroes, with the design of the villains, with the innovation that it has, and of course X Men. I mean, it hasn't come out yet, but maybe I'll revisit this topic towards the end of the year, and see if my prediction or my thoughts right now hold up for the rest of the year. But let me know what you all think. Do you all think that this is some of the strongest that we've seen with Marvel Champions thus far? Is this one of the more exciting times that we've seen with Marvel Champions? Let me know. Leave a like on the video. Drop a comment. I'd love to hear what you all have to think. And thank you, and have a wonderful day.